The Life of Nelson Mandela. What if I told you that one man spent 27 years in prison and then became president of the very country that imprisoned him? What if I told you that this same man forgave his enemies and changed the world forever? This is the true story of a man who refused to bow down to hatred, who turned suffering into strength, and who proved that one person can change everything. Then stay with me for the next 12 minutes, because I promise you, by the end of this video, you'll never look at challenges the same way again. I was born Roli Lala, which means troublemaker in my language. I was just a village boy, herding cattle, playing with sticks, dreaming of becoming a warrior like my ancestors. And people like me, we were told where we could live, where we could work, even where we could walk. A regent took me in, and for the first time I saw what leadership looked like. She said it would help me in the white man's world. But even as I studied and learned, I could see the injustice everywhere. As I grew older, the fire inside me grew stronger. A system designed to keep people separated and unequal. I remember the moment everything became clear to me. The driver ordered the black passenger to move. As I watched this humiliation, something broke inside me, and something else was born. Laws that treated people like animals needed to be challenged. I joined the African National Congress, the ANC. We started with peaceful protests, marches, speeches. We were wrong. The government became more violent, more oppressive. They banned our meetings, arrested our leaders, killed our people. I helped form Umkhonto we Sizwe, Spear of the Nation. I never wanted to become the monster I was fighting against. Standing in that courtroom, facing a possible death sentence, I had to make the most important speech of my life. The whole world was watching. My people were counting on me, and I knew these might be my last words as a free man. I have fought against white domination, and I have fought against black domination. It is an ideal which I hope to live for and to achieve. The courtroom fell silent. Even my enemies knew they had heard something powerful, because I had spoken my truth, and no prison cell could take that away from me. A cold, brutal prison on a rocky island surrounded by shark-infested waters. They gave me a number, 46664. They wanted to erase Nelson Mandela and make me just another prisoner. The white guards called me boy, even though I was nearly 50 years old. Every morning, I woke up with a choice. I could become bitter, angry, full of hatred. Or I could use this time to become stronger, wiser, more prepared for the future I still believed in. I chose strength. I learned Afrikaans, the language of my oppressors, because I knew that to defeat your enemy, you must understand him. I taught other prisoners. I turned that prison into a university. We called it Mandela University. The guards tried to break me, but I broke them instead, not with violence, but with dignity. Slowly, some of them began to see me not as a terrorist, but as a human being. Some even became my friends. 27 years of my life, gone. I missed my children growing up. There were nights when I wondered if the world had forgotten about Nelson Mandela, if my sacrifice meant anything, if change would ever come. But I never gave up hope, because I knew that somewhere out there people were still fighting for freedom. What I didn't know was that my imprisonment had made me more powerful than I ever was as a free man. Musicians wrote songs about me. Governments imposed sanctions on South Africa. My name became a symbol of resistance, of hope, of the fight for justice everywhere. The pressure was building, and the apartheid government was starting to crack. They realized that keeping me in prison was costing them more than releasing me ever could. I had to promise to stop fighting, to accept the apartheid system, to abandon my people's struggle. My answer was simple. What freedom am I being offered while the organization of the people remains banned? I would rather die in prison as a free man in spirit than live outside as a slave to injustice. But finally, in 1989, everything began to change. A new president, F.W. de Klerk, realized that apartheid was unsustainable. February 11th, 1990. After 27 years, they opened the prison gates. I walked out, hand in hand with my wife Winnie, into a world that had changed completely while I was locked away. Millions of people were watching on television. The crowd was massive, emotional, explosive with joy. Freedom from prison didn't mean freedom for my people. The real work was just beginning. I had a choice to make, the same choice that faces everyone who has been hurt, betrayed, or wronged. I could lead my people to war against the whites who had oppressed us, or I could find a way for all of us to live together in peace. I chose peace. Not because I was weak, but because I was strong enough to forgive. This was the hardest decision of my life. Many of my own people called me a traitor. They wanted justice, blood for blood. But I knew that revenge would only create more pain, more division, more suffering for generations to come. Instead, we created something the world had never seen before. The Truth and Reconciliation Commission. Perpetrators of crimes could confess and be forgiven. Victims could tell their stories and find healing. In 1994, at the age of 75, I became the first black president of South Africa. The same country that had imprisoned me for 27 years now asked me to lead it. Standing on the balcony of the Union buildings in Pretoria, taking the oath of office, I looked out at a crowd that included both my former jailers and my fellow freedom fighters. Every year in prison, every moment of loneliness, every sacrifice, it had all led to this moment of triumph, not just for me, but for all South Africa. I served only one term as president. Power, I learned, is not something to cling to. It's something to use wisely and then pass on. I wanted to show Africa that leaders should step down voluntarily, that democracy means more than just one person or one party ruling forever. It's in the principle I lived by every single day, that forgiveness is stronger than revenge, that love is more powerful than hate, and that one person with courage can change the world. My friends, I'm telling you my story not because I was special, but because you are special. You have the same power inside you that I had, the power to choose love over hate, hope over despair, action over apathy. There will be times when you feel imprisoned by your circumstances, when the walls seem too high to climb, when freedom seems impossible to achieve. In those moments, remember this: I spent 27 years in prison and emerged not bitter, but better. I sacrificed my personal happiness but helped create a better future for millions. Your struggles may not be as dramatic as mine, but they are just as real, and you are just as capable of overcoming them. Every challenge is an opportunity to grow stronger. Every setback is a setup for a comeback. The greatest glory in living lies not in never falling, but in rising every time we fall. You have the power to be the change you want to see in the world. Don't wait for someone else to fight for justice. You fight for it. Don't wait for someone else to show compassion. You show it. Don't wait for someone else to forgive. You forgive. Your power is real. Use it wisely. If Nelson Mandela's story has inspired you today, I want you to do 3 things right now. First, smash that like button if you believe that one person can change the world. Second, subscribe to our channel and ring that notification bell because we're bringing you more incredible stories of courage, hope, and transformation that will change your life forever. Third, share this video with someone who needs to hear this message today. Maybe it's a friend going through a tough time. Maybe it's a family member who's lost hope. Maybe it's someone fighting their own battles. Comment below and tell me. What's your impossible dream that you're going to start fighting for today? What prison walls, whether real or imaginary, are you going to break free from? Remember, you are stronger than you think, braver than you believe, and more capable than you imagine. Until next time, keep fighting, keep believing, keep rising. The world needs your light. This is the story of Nelson Mandela. But more importantly, this is the beginning of your story of transformation.